Forgot to add myself to the stream. Hello, I am Dan Hollifield, and welcome to Last Man Standing. Uh, if you missed Stupid O'Clock, you missed out. But you're gonna have to go back and rewatch that. I mean, it should be live on YouTube and several Facebook channels and Twitch any minute now. If it wasn't already, let me just say it was a lot of fun. And speaking of a lot of fun, here's Bill and here's Chris. And we're going to try and, if not exceed what just happened, and at least try and follow it up with something that's equally good. So, gentlemen, how are you this evening?
I'm doing all right. Nice
Long
t-shirt,
day.
Bill.
Wake up, Bill. I'm not that
What'd you
boring.
say? I'm
Well,
sorry, Chris.
I said nice t-shirt. I see Captain America, Hulk, and Thor.
Oh yeah,
There's
yeah.
Iron
oh,
Man,
and
and
Iron Man, yeah.
who's on
And
the
Black Panther
okay,
Okay,
Black
good.
Panther
And
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 uh, and,
and
Black
and
Widow.
Black Widow.
Black Widow. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was obviously they were using classic stuff to go with the more contemporary Avengers.
Mm.
I got
I
a
like the
T-shirt
classic
that
stuff.
was a front cover that looks like a front cover from an '80s Marvel Avengers comic, but they utilize all the new characters of the Avengers.
Mm.
And
I'm friends with the actual guy that did the comics back in the '70s, late '70s, I think, Rob Brown.
mm,
Oh, yes, yes,
they
indeed.
were good. Well, the ones from the mid '70s is the ones I've read the most. I think I stopped reading Avengers after West Coast Avengers. I'm like, what's coming up next? East New Jersey Avengers, or it's kind of like CSI.
Oh, come on. Have you not read the Great Lakes Avengers? Those
Yeah,
that's a nice concept right there. Um, that's kind of in the same vein as the original sort of run of Doom Patrol. It people you would not expect to be heroes having to be heroes because hey, that's what the job entails, and that's what circumstances required.
That's why Spider-Man was so popular. Who expected a
yeah.
awkward teenager to be a hero?
Really, and such a damn good one at that.
Yep.
He had a
Spider-Man
lot of
became a
flaws.
classic. Hey, yeah, well, flaws is what allowed the readers to connect with
Yeah.
the character.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that made him so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
enjoyed actually getting to see little segments on. I'm sure y'all are familiar with Sesame Street, but
Oh, yeah.
the follow up show for slightly older kids was the Electric Company.
I would say Electric Company was slightly
And
younger audience than Sesame Street, but
no, they
Uh,
were
that
older.
no,
that would be arguable.
And then
Yes.
Zoom would be older too.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Zoom.
Gonna zoom, 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 zoom.
but Electric Company is
Um.
where I first remember seeing Morgan Freeman.
Hmm.
hmm
And Fargo, North Dakota.
And
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
they had a lot. They
Oh,
had
they
Bill
had a lot of stuff.
Cosby. They had
Yeah.
was Lily Tomlin on that? Am I right in saying that or not?
Um,
Or Rita
I
I can't
Moreno?
remember if
Rita
it's
Moreno for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
She was on it, and
Hey, you guys. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. Rita
And
Moreno was one of those. Oh, this is gonna be good.
yeah.
When you saw her, yep. Everything was gonna be all right because entertainment was in the offing.
And then I used to also enjoy. I don't know if you remember 3, 2, 1 Contact.
hmm
No, not really. Hello, Stephanie.
Yep.
Um,
Kind of one of the best intros. I mean, if you were into science like I was as a kid, 321
mhm.
Contact was just so much fun.
Yeah, I was going to say
Oh,
that was more for the geekier kids, and that there would be
well,
some that would kind of lose, like, oh, why are we watching this? But
now
it progressed
I got to
as it
say,
got into several
live,
seasons later.
living in East Tennessee near Oak Ridge, I got kind of privileged to be able to watch not only Captain Kangaroo, but then
Hmm.
Mr. Wizard came on right after that.
Yep.
And I'm going, oh, this is my kind of life here. Uh, we're not talking about carbon dioxide volcanoes. We're talking about real science where shit gets set on fire and whatnot. And he goes, oh, don't worry about that. We got a fire extinguisher. It'll be all right. Now, what did you learn from that? Don't set the studio on fire was one of the big lessons.
Mhm.
Ah,
I, I like watching The Galloping Gourmet just for the simple fact that he was always having some sort of thing blow up on him, and it was usually some sort of mixer or chopper or some kitchen utensil that had a cord running out of the end of it. Did not get along with The Galloping Gourmet.
You're making me think of Fire Marshal Bill on In Living Color.
on in living color, yeah. Uh, lobster flambe. We were not planning this, but we're doing it now. Um, oh Lord!
Well, I
And you
think
know
by the
there
time
have
Bill
been so
Nye
many
the
parodies of that sort of thing over the
mm,
years. Bill Nye, yes, thank you.
he by the time Bill Nye the Science Guy came out, I think it was more widely accepted by then because it was I Mr. Wizard, you mentioned him. Now, did
Hmm.
he go on like a hiatus? Because I remember when they came out with like a new Mr. Wizard's World in the 80s, he was obviously older, but
Hmm.
I don't really remember Mr. Wizard from the 70s or late 60s.
Would have been 60s. Yeah. He went through an entire series of stuff, and then it was not because he wanted to go on hiatus, but his show got kind of um I want to say sidetracked, but that is obviously not the right word. It got kind of
Pushed to the
put
side.
off. Yeah, it got put off. It got well, it did get canceled. Basically, is what it was. But
Yeah.
then through popular demand, he was brought back.
Yeah.
So
Who was the
and
other guy that, now this would have been 80s, but who was the other guy that used to wear the bodysuit of the human anatomy all the time? And he had the real
oh,
frizzy hair. He acted kookier than Doug Henning.
I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah, I
about,
can't think of the
and he
I,
name.
did show up on Electric Company a few times,
I
and
think
I
the
I'm not
body
sure that
was in the name of it.
human body was all I remember, but it could have had a more precise name.
Hmm.
Slim
Uh,
Goodbody.
Slim Good
Slim.
Body, that's it.
It
Yeah.
was
Okay,
created and performed by John Burstein.
God,
so he was wearing the invisible. No, not invisible. The Visible Man sort of
yeah.
Yeah.
bodysuit,
Yeah.
named after the popular anatomical model that was something that. Oh wow.
Oh,
I
we
was
all had those.
Oh, not really. I was in a sort of not exactly. It was long past my kindergarten years, but it was a summer school basically, and it was being held in a Lutheran church in
Mm-hmm.
Athens, and they brought us in. It was basically a summertime babysitting service for kids of all ages, but they emphasized science. So we got to learn all kinds of stuff, and nobody minded if you uh, actually were of the predilection to read a book or go to a library or whatnot. It was not one of those things where you were ostracized for having an IQ that could be measured in positive integers. I really enjoyed those 2 or 3 years that we spent in that it as a summer school um, daycare, basically. When I was just under high school age, I was in junior high at the time. My sister didn't like it very much until they got into artistic stuff, which she excels in, and then she was in her element right there. My little brother was still in diapers at the time, so he didn't get to participate, but uh, we'll rub his nose in that later on.
I really remember seeing both the model of the visible man and the visible woman
Mm-hmm.
in our science class. I want to say it was either fourth grade or fifth grade, so I was still been in Cherokee at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember they had at either the end of the class, end of the class every day, they had to take both of the models, put them in the drawer of the desk of the teacher and lock it up, because when they left them sitting on this shelf with other sciencey things,
Class,
that
class clowns
they,
were a thing.
well, let's just say there were some body parts that were interchanged from one to the other. And then sometimes it was kind of like an Easter egg hunt on where in the classroom were the body parts. And the person responsible would get there in the class early enough that he would hide them, that it may end up being in your desk, or it may end up being underneath your seat, or in the planter over by the window, or what have you. And then so finally they said, enough of these shenanigans, and they would have to lock it up. And then every day when they would go to start class, he'd take them out. And I think eventually he just put them on his desk, because he knew they were going to have to go back in the desk again. But they were fully put together. And then our public library in Danville at the time, speaking of model kits, they had a children's section of the library. And I distinctively remember up on the top shelf that went all around the top of the library, different little model kits, and they were all the Aurora model kits. So here's Batman and Robin and Superman and Spider-Man and the Hulk and Godzilla, and one of them was the submarine from the Irwin Allen TV show that the name escapes me right now.
The one that was miniaturized.
Yeah.
Fantastic Voyage.
Fantastic Voyage.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
the name of the submarine was Proteus, from the movie anyway. It when it got time for the cartoon, things might have gotten changed.
no, this would have been live action Irwin Allen.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been
like Time Tunnel and all that. Was it the Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, maybe?
Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea was in there in
That was
the
one,
era,
yeah.
but the one from Fantastic Voyage was a live action movie. I can't remember many of the stars. I want to
I'm
say
pulling it
that
up.
I want to say that Raquel Welch was one of the
She was.
actresses in there,
Yes.
and really, it was a great movie. When I was a child living in Athens, they had a Saturday morning sort of thing with Bozo the Clown, for of all people, and had as the feature event of this, you went to the Georgia Theater, which is one of these tiny intimate theaters that was really big 20, 30 years earlier, but was kind of run down at the time, and became a huge music venue in the 70s. But in the 60s, it had a very limited sort of audience that came in. And Fantastic Voyage was the movie that they played for us after the Bozo segment, which was live. I mean, had the clown there and everything. Um, and I'm sitting there. I'm probably the oldest person in the theater that wasn't on staff, and I was only about 10 at the time, maybe 12. And it was. I had not seen the movie before, but then I'd seen it again later on TV, and I knew where the commercial edits went, um, or what went on during the commercial edits from broadcast TV. So it was a fascinating sort of thing.
I
It was a lot of fun.
I forgot that Yvonne Craig was in Voyage of the Bottom of the Sea.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
had
because
forgotten that too. Oh,
yeah. Well,
and
of course, you had Richard Basehart and Michael Pate and Victor Bono, but
hey,
then
Mike
her
Jim.
name popped up.
Yeah.
And the Sea View was the name of the submarine that I was
Yes,
trying to think of. Now, did they
and
not have a smaller one that came out of it as well? Or am I thinking of another Irwin Allen
no,
TV show?
you had the flying sub, the manta ray shaped thing that was bright yellow and with black trim. The flying sub, it would drop out of the front end of the sea view and motor on a little bit, and then jump up out of the water like stingray and fly around, um, and had different things to do in the series itself. Um,
I finally thought of that movie that I was trying to think of that had Peter Cushing in it. But
oh,
it's called At the Earth's Core.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was based on a uh, a, s- a story by the creator of
Edgar
Tarzan,
Rice Burroughs.
Edgar Rice Burroughs. Thank you.
It also had David McClure, Carol
Hmm.
Monroe, and a couple other popular character actors at the time.
Hmm.
The Fantastic Voyage craft was called the Proteus,
Yeah.
Okay.
and familiar actors in it included Raquel Welch, Donald Pleasance, and James Brolin.
Yeah, Donald Pleasance has the distinction of being the guy you really don't want to be a villain, but he usually winds up that way.
He's got such a distinctive voice, though, and delivery.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, just a fantastic actor. And you thought, oh, I don't want him to be the bad guy, but he's gonna be because he's so good at it.
Well, he's got one of those voices I love for hearing narration. John
Hmm.
Huston was another one.
Oh, well,
Um, Jeremy Irons, and there's a couple others. Of course, Morgan Freeman and
well.
Peter
and,
Coyote.
and
Mhm.
James Earl Jones and a couple others that come to
Now,
mind.
now, now, wasn't Donald Pleasance the psychiatrist in either the first or the second Jason movie?
He
Um,
was in Halloween, I know. I think he was.
Halloween, yes,
Yeah,
yes. The
yeah.
first or the first or the second one, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
This is where we need Skunk because he knows horror movies inside and
Yeah.
out.
Hmm.
Good morning, Mike Jimmy.
Lord, yeah. Jimmy, you want to pop in? I can flip you the link here. I can try anyway.
Yeah, I love the Rankin Bass animated Lord of the Rings
Mm.
Oh
The Hobbit.
project they
yeah.
did that John Huston narrated. Oh man, he was like
That
perfect for that.
that's the only Lord of the Rings that I will watch, or The Hobbit.
Oh
I'm sorry, I'm one of these people. All those movies,
well,
it's
I mean, nothing bad to be said about
The
any of
movies
this
were
stuff.
it's
enjoyable.
just not my
Yeah.
cup of tea. That's all it is. It's the same way with Harry Potter and several things. Firefly. Everybody raves about Firefly, and I'm like, huh? I'm
I
going to
have
check this out. And I watched about 4 or 5 episodes of it on stream. I'm like, eh. It was just not my cup of tea.
It's
yeah.
basically a space western.
Hmm.
Yep. I tried to watch Firefly, but apparently when it was first shown, the episodes were out of order, so they didn't make an
Mm.
awful lot of sense continuity wise. The ones that I did see were excellent, but I could not get into it, even though
Well,
I
the fans will tell you that they were out of order.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Jimmy.
hey,
But
Hallelujah.
good to
Good
have you.
be,
program.
Good to have you. Hey,
before we get too straight away from it, though, Chris, on the narration part, wasn't it not Peter Coyote who narrated the PBS Civil War series?
good
Um,
I'm
Lord, you
not
don't have
sure.
asked some.
They had voice talent from
well, I know, but the
different
main
actors.
narrator through the whole Maxi series,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
believe, if I'm correct,
what series
and
again? The Civil War.
yeah, PBS Civil War, Ken Burns Civil War
Yeah.
series, and and I know you're looking it up, but one thing about Peter Coyote, I always thought now, so if you close your eyes and you listen to his voice, I thought, my Lord, he sounds an awful lot like Henry Fonda. Just
I will.
listen
I will.
listen
I
to
will
something of
not.
Peter Coyote sometime and then
I
tell
will
me
not contest that. I would say probably a very very young Fonda,
it
but
well it well in let's say Henry Fonda and My Darling Clementine, those
hmm
years. I'm not
yeah,
talking like on Golden Pond or anything, but yeah,
yes,
earlier
sir.
Henry Fonda, but it's that very distinct voice with that timbre in it that Henry Fonda was so known for.
hmm
But
No,
anyway, sorry, I just had to get that out.
I remember Peter Coyote best as the villain in a movie with Bette Midler and one of the ladies from very early Saturday Night Live, I do believe. Not
Jane
might have been
Curtin, Lorraine Newman, Gilda
Lo-
Radner.
Lorraine Newman. I want
Hmm.
to say I'm not sure, but it was basically one of those things where the two ladies had been dating him at the same time, but he turned out to be a bad guy, and they teamed up to track him down. I can't remember the name of the movie,
Hmm.
but it was. Oh, and I think George Carlin was in it, with a not a sizable role, but a little bit more than a cameo.
Hmm.
Um, ah,
Remember what decade it was
Actually,
from?
the narrator is showing is David McCullough.
oh, okay.
David McCullough. Now that name doesn't sound familiar.
Let's see what we can do here.
Not saying it's wrong. It doesn't sound familiar.
Well, that's what they're showing for narration.
Mhm.
Yeah, I see him on there.
I'm looking to see where it shows Peter Coyote, but
However, they say Ultimate Civil War series. I don't think that's Ken Burns though. Okay. I know Peter Coyote was
he's
the
not even
narrator
listed.
for a lot of the other Ken Burns stuff too. So I
Yeah.
guess that's why I just naturally thought that he did the Civil War as well.
But some popular names: Sam Waterston, Morgan Freeman played Frederick Douglass. Sam Waterston played
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln.
Jason Robards was Grant.
Yeah, and Garrison Keillor was Walt Whitman. No, George Black was Robert E. Lee.
Yes.
Derek Jacobi was in 9 episodes. Interestingly enough, Jody Powell played Stonewall Jackson. I'm wondering if that's the press secretary for Carter.
Jeremy Irons,
Okay.
Kurt Vonnegut, Lawrence Fishburne.
Yep.
All right. The movie I was thinking of is called Outrageous Fortune, and it was Shelley Long, not Lorraine Newman, who was in there with
Okay.
Peter Coyote and Bette Midler, and it's just such a fun movie.
Oh, it had M. Emmett Walsh and Hoyt Axton as well. And of course, that's where Shelby Foote became a household name.
Yes. And I'll tell you what, if you ever find a first edition of a Shelby Foote Civil War novel, grab it. They have jumped since his death. They've jumped up in prices, but actually more recently, in the last couple years, they've gone even further.
Mm.
I actually started reading Shelby Foote books after watching his little parts in the Ken Burns Civil War series.
Mm.
He was just so interesting.
Well, the whole series was interesting. I mean, it covered a huge variety of things that were not just the normal stuff that you would learn about in school, but some of the backstory of different characters and well, characters, people that were involved in the entire
Mhm.
thing. Not only uh, as if they were historical characters, but as if they were real people. And then that's the part that really impressed everybody was it treated all the historical characters as real people, which was not the done thing at the time, but turned into the state of the art later on.
It said he was in E.T. I don't remember him in E.T. Peter Coyote, that is.
He was the guy with the keychain. He was the one chasing ET.
Oh, okay.
He was in charge of the hit squad that was chasing ET.
He was in the 1983 movie Cross Creek, 85 in Jagged Edge, Bitter Moon in 92, Kika in 93, Patch Adams in 98, Aaron Brockovich in 2000, A Walk to Remember in 2002, and Femme Fatale and also in 2002.
He was also in The Legend of Billie Jean.
I bow to your researching skills, gentlemen.
Now,
And the movie
apparently,
Fear.
his voice over stuff, as far as since we're talking about him being a narrator, he did PBS series Pacific Century in '92, winning an Emmy. The West in '96, National Parks, America's Best Idea in 2009, Prohibition in 2011, The Dust Bowl in 2012, Roosevelt's An Intimate History in 2014, Vietnam War in 2017, the Mayo Clinic, Faith, Hope, Science 2018, Country Music in 2019, Hemingway in 2021, and
Oh,
Benjamin
breathe,
Franklin in
breathe.
2022.
Bill, you got to
He-
learn to breathe sometime.
I know. Me and Donna, man. Me and Donna just don't know how to breathe. I'll tell you. Well, the guy's been busy, I think.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
sorry.
he's had a little bit of work now and then.
You can't accuse him of being unemployed.
No.
Oh, you may have objections to what he was employed doing, but when you're a working actor, you'll attend the opening of an envelope. So,
Well, once again, I think he could be employed of being impressionist of Henry Fonda, because I really think the two of their voices sound alike. And that could be just me being weird, and it probably is, but it's just not weird enough. But I do think he sounds like him.
Ah, that's what it was.
remembering his voice, I would love to see him or hear him do voice of an animated character, a villain in some animated series, whether it was comic book related to either the major firms, or if it was an independent thing, because I think he could and has done, even as a live actor, play a pretty decent bad guy.
Who we talking about again?
Peter Coyote.
Yeah.
Well, he had that look too, you know.
Well,
It
Jeremy
did-
Irons
the
has played
voice
good
didn't
either.
match the face.
If you're doing voice acting, you're just going to be drawn. You're not going to be shown. So,
And Jeremy Irons is another one that's good at playing good or bad guys.
hmm oh, he was in one of the adaptations of Terry Pratchett novel. I don't remember if it was Light Fantastic or if it was one of the other 2 or 3 live action Terry Pratchett movies that were done by the BBC. Or was it ITV? I can't remember, and I'm not going to Google that. But
let me see.
he was playing veterinary.
Yeah, no. I think that was in Going Postal,
Mm,
which is a very new adaptation.
yes, and that's one of the really good ones. When everybody
Yes.
found their footing with that,
Mm.
yeah. Uh, Light Fantastic and oh, what was the second one? Color Magic.
Yeah.
Those were kind of people going, okay, we've got permission from Terry Pratchett to do this. Let's see what we can do. And they were excellent movies, very excellent movies. And then you got to Hogfather, which was a tour de force, and then Going Postal, which was, hey, we know how to do this now. And oh Lord, yes.
There is The Watch, but we don't talk about The Watch.
No, that was. I'm not sure what pejorative to add to that, but
No.
it was not good. Let's
No.
say.
He was.
Or let me rephrase that. It was based on Pratchett, but it was not Pratchett.
Yeah, that's what I get her to. I still haven't watched it myself. I because I literally can't find it because it's just so hard to start pirating because I don't have the money to get a subscription. But
Wow, he's 6'2".
Who? Jeremy?
Jeremy Irons.
Yes,
oh,
he
really?
is a very tall gentleman. He played a role in, oh, I can't remember the movie now. It was a 70s, 80s sort of thing, and it was not in the least bit uh comedy. It was a very, very serious drama, and he just knocked it out of the park.
Well, he
And
was very good though. He was in the movie Kafka.
mhm.
He was in the movie Casanova in 2005. He was in the 2000 film Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, I'd
Ooh.
forgotten that. Yes, I've seen that one.
He was also in The French Lieutenant's Woman.
Oh,
And
wow,
There's
that's
a
a
movie
classic.
adaptation of that.
Yeah,
Ooh, I
he
that's a
was
gotta
in
watch
Red
classic
that.
right there.
Sparrow.
Don't remember that one.
It's got Jennifer Lawrence in it.
Well, yeah, you would notice that.
He was also in
Chris mentions
he was also in Die Hard, the first one, and Die Hard with a Vengeance, which I believe is the third one.
Third one?
Hmm.
Yeah.
He was the brother of Hans Gruber.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And he was in Aragon, which I wish they'd have made a sequel to. 'Cause
Yeah, I can see
I
why.
enjoyed it. Margin Call, House of Gucci. Of course, he played Scar in The Lion King.
Hmm.
Reversal of Fortune. Uh, Madam Butterfly or M Butterfly. I'm sure it's Madam Butterfly for
Oh, wow.
1993. Stealing Beauty in 1996, which had Liv Tyler, Stephen's daughter, by
Yes,
Guy
yes.
Gangel.
Oh, and Stephen just went back into rehab. He
The
relapsed. Oh, I wish him luck. The world needs him to be 100% and not,
yeah,
well,
he was also in Appaloosa in 2008, which
ooh,
is Western.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I believe it had Ed Harris in it as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm getting some glitches. I'm going to back out and reboot, and I'll be right back in.
Okay.
So that's and how can I forget Dead Ringers? That was a creepy movie.
hmm Once again, we're dipping into where's skunk territory. Um,
Well, you notice I got a little bit on the quiet side. I don't do those kinds of movies.
well, neither
No.
do
Yeah,
I. Neither do I. That's that. I might have heard of them, but it's not my preferred viewing. So
I like to
Well,
sleep.
bingo,
yes,
exactly. Yes.
same
well,
same reason I quit reading Stephen King novels because I like to be
Hmm.
able to sleep at night.
let me ask you this while I'm thinking about it. Did any of y'all see the movie adaptation of Aragon, and what did you think of it?
Way back when, and I don't remember much of it, honestly.
I can't recall that I have ever seen it. I've
I
heard of it, but
enjoyed it, but it had Jeremy Irons in it. It had oh John Malkovich
Hmm.
and oh what's his name?
okay, let's get Bill back in the channel,
Eh,
Okay,
and hopefully,
hopefully.
hopefully
Welcome
the
back.
I'll
glitches
pull
go
it up
away.
in a minute.
Yeah, it started off with Chris, and then when I seen everybody else started flickering, I'm like, oh, that's me.
Robert
Yeah.
Carlyle.
Oh, that name sounds familiar.
Oh man, he's a very good actor. I think he played. I think he played in Rumpelstiltskin or Grimm or whatever.
Oh,
He was also in Stargate Universe.
Hmm.
He's a very good actor.
Chris, you said something earlier about Dungeons and Dragon movie, and I was going to say something. Of course, that's when it started glitching on me. So now further down the road, I'm mentioning it. It brought to mind a news report I saw last night. There's an over-the-air news channel called Newsy
Mhm.
that's recently new, and I've been kind of watching it off and on.
Mhm.
Originally to see updates on the Robb Elementary school
Mhm.
shooting and that, but eventually was watching other things on there. It's predominantly okay. It's nothing to rave about, but the channel is a pretty decent channel. But they came out with this report of, hey people, there's this game called Dungeons and Dragons, and guess what? Girls are into it now. And I'm like,
oh my God.
am I watching a report from the year 1982 or what? Well, I mean, I have to tell you, I am not a Dungeons and Dragons person outside of the Saturday morning cartoon, which makes most hardcore Dungeons and Dragon people cringe.
Mhm.
But so I know little to know nothing about it other than I played it maybe once or twice and played the Ranger and died both times. And that's it. And I don't have any further interest in it. But I do know as much that this report, that was a new report from this Newsy channel, and it shows these girls. They're predominantly like teenage, maybe going into college year type girls, and there's one in particular in some other country, maybe yours, Mike Jimmy, I don't know, that she started a big thing nationwide and talking about, oh, it's great, she's creating her own worlds and her own characters, and the report from beginning to end is played through like the D&D is something brand new in the world.
Oh no.
It was, the more I couldn't stop. It was probably about a 10-minute long report, maybe close to, so a little bit longer than normal, but I had to keep watching it because it just kept getting
Like a
funnier
train
and
wreck, you
funnier.
couldn't look away.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I gotta
Oh my
look that up.
God.
I have to look that up.
Oh yeah, yes. It's one, yeah, but it's some girl that supposedly is bringing women into playing Dungeons and Dragons.
I was
With
I
Mary,
was playing
actually.
D&D in the early '80s, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Late
Yeah.
70s here, and
Bill Fawcett, man, his lovely wife, playing stuff of that nature.
I
love my
remember
comic
I remember the satanic panic when people thought that rolling dice and doing statistics was
Yeah.
somehow devilish.
Mhm.
Mm.
Oh, it involved math.
Well, there probably
I would
was
agree
a
there,
lot of
but,
people
you
that
know.
were, but you know,
And
people
for
roll
those of
dice
you
for whatever.
who don't know, Bill Fawcett's lovely wife is Jody Lynn Nye.
Oh, she's a nice
Lucky bastard.
lady.
Mm.
She's a nice lady. We've seen her on well in let's see which was it a LibertyCon virtual or
She's been at a number of conventions over the years. Like I
yeah
said,
yeah
she's a very good writer, classy lady, enjoyable
100% agree
personality,
yeah.
pleasant voice. I mean, she's all that in a bag of chips.
Oh,
But what
But
kind of chips?
I'm well you know
any
The one
kind
you
you
love.
want. Um, Robert Carlyle, going back to him, he played Mr. Gold / Rumpelstiltskin / Weaver in Once Upon a Time TV series. He was also
Oh,
in what was the Bond movie? I just passed it up. The World Is Not Enough. He played Renard.
Okay.
I stopped watching those Bond movies about 15 years ago or more.
But he's one of those that's a really good actor, has a great stage presence and all, and he's fun to watch, and he was
Well,
really good.
yeah,
in,
pretty much whatever
Harry
part you give him, he's going to give it his all. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
those are good actors.
Yes, yes, they are. Yes, they are. And there are, thankfully, quite a lot of them out there, actors and actresses. You give them a part,
Hmm.
you light the blue touch paper, and you stand
Now,
well back, and you watch what fireworks they develop. Yeah.
Dan, now you got to be politically correct and just say actors. You don't say actresses anymore.
I don't have to be politically correct.
Yeah.
I don't have
No.
to be anything except on time.
It's
you
late
know,
at night. It's not like there's going to be hordes of people watching us right now.
No, and if there
And
are,
you know,
Hopefully,
if
what are you doing out here?
if
But don't
anybody
you
objects to
want to
anything we
watch
say,
hordes of
it's
people?
probably going to be raising our ratings quite a bit. So,
Yeah.
oh, and one thing I never mentioned on the show: hit the like and subscribe and the notifications bell or whatever. And now
Don't
we can
miss an
go on with what.
episode.
Yeah, really. Now we can go on with some serious
You you need a scroll at
baloney.
the bottom that says that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it took me longer to write it than it's worth, actually. Um, it's
Hit
not like
like
I
and
want
subscribe.
it's not like I want this to be monetized, which means we'd have to sit here and listen to people complain about, oh, they stuck commercials in your show.
Well, if you say it the right way, Dan, to where you get their attention, then that's how you get them to do it. So instead of saying, ring the bell, you just say ring my bell, and then start
I'm a
singing
married man. I'm
the
not doing
disco
that.
song, Ring My Bell. Who was that? Not Anita Baker. I can't remember who
No.
it was
Anita
now.
Ward.
Yeah. I don't
Anita
know.
Anita Ward. I was halfway there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, well, I need a beer, so.
Cheers.
beer me.
Coffee.
Mm.
Chris,
Uh,
you wasn't
The fax
in
machine
the
is
green
not
room
working,
last night?
otherwise we'd all have one.
I'm usually finishing up at work during the green room, and I usually don't get off till late. So by the time
Well,
it's midnight Eastern, so usually y'all are tapping out about then.
I know Stephanie was in there for a while, and then Dan, of course, was there. Um,
Apparently I was in good form as far as sarcasm was
Yeah.
concerned last night.
Yeah, I heard. I
Let it
I
roll.
can't find it
Did
on
you
the
see
group.
my comment in Stupid O'Clock?
Oh,
Uh,
you know,
I said
I haven't, but and I'm sorry to confess that, but no, I didn't.
it's fine, but I'll go ahead and tell you what I said, or what
Oh,
I typed rather. I said I heard Dan was in rare and fine form and reaching new heights or depths, depending on how you will look at it.
oh, well, I've got to say, you know, I keep telling people in the green room, please don't give me straight lines. Please don't give me straight lines. And they persist in giving me straight lines. So uh, my natural smartass uh, shines on Friday nights.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
like
height or
Their
depth.
smart ass
They're,
comes out to play.
they're
yeah,
like
there
a
were depth
beacon in the
charges
night.
last
Let
night.
me tell you. Uh, the-
it's like you're a hitter and they just throw up that fastball. It's right that sweet spot you want to nail it.
and I just go, got it. Oh,
Well, I
you thought it
was.
was
I refer to that
you
as
thought it
don't
was
leave
out of
me
the
in
park,
opening.
but I got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes I wish I had the freedom to do that on the more public forums, but uh,
Well,
let's
what
just
Well,
was
say,
it that set Donna off? I'm trying to
oh,
remember.
which time? Um,
No, I mean the time when she stopped breathing, that she
which
was
time?
out of it
Believe,
for a while.
believe
Well,
me.
I didn't get in till about 10 o'clock. So if there was anything before that, I wouldn't have known. But
It started about 8 o'clock our time,
mm, I know she
and
was drinking margaritas.
that didn't have anything to do with it. It's me being a smartass was
Mm.
what got her to stop breathing. Because
you
people
tickled
just
her
give me
funny bone.
straight lines, and I go, the shortest distance between two puns is a straight line. So,
Well,
ah,
Chris,
Yeah.
one thing you did miss last night by not coming in, besides Dan's depth charges,
Hmm.
um, was my new acquisition from the auction last night of about
oh,
6545
hmm
RPM records. I got them all for $10. These things all had the paper sleeves. Numerous of them had picture sleeves.
Wow.
Uh, let's put it this way: this person's collection was primo. It was pop, rock, and some country from the late 60s all the way to the early 80s. I mean, Cat Stevens, Joan Baez, Carly Simon. I got the 45 of You're So Vain. We were talking
Mm,
about that the other night.
hmm
And um, Superstar by the Carpenters, and
hmm
uh, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, and Kenny
very
Rogers, and
nice.
Willie Nelson, always on my mind, 45 on the original Orange Columbia.
yeah,
Uh,
and
I
Bill,
and
I,
they're
didn't
in
wind up with
great
it.
condition. I was looking through them today, and they're just, well, 145 out of that whole bunch was rippled like an ashtray where it
hmm
Mm,
melted, and it
yeah.
was a Wayne Newton one, so I didn't care. It's like, hey, Wayne Newton bit the dust. That's all right. He took one for the team.
the,
My
the the
dad.
the thing was, and I do owe you an apology, Bill, but while you were reading off the names and the song titles, the artist names and the song titles, there were other conversations going on in the background that you were not uh, paying attention to because you were
I
concentrating on your 45s, and there was some accidental comedy in there where somebody would say something, I would say something, and you would say something about the record, and the three
mhm.
statements together kind of snowballed into
Yeah, I
things
heard it.
that
I just kept going because
I
a
know,
lot
I
of it
know.
was I was discovering them for myself for the first time. Like, oh wow, shit,
Yeah,
this
but
is the Kinks, Lola, or whatever, whatever the record was. And
I thought that I should apologize because I kept rolling
nah, I didn't care.
with the smart aleck remarks, and you played straight man very very well. Let me tell you.
No, no,
Now I didn't wind up with it, but my dad had the 33 LP for Willie Nelson's Redheaded Stranger.
right.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be a good acquisition.
that is
Well,
a collectible nowadays. Yeah.
The Hey Jude album that I got last week for actually the same amount, $10. I did go to Hobby Lobby this past week because they were 50% off their frames, which the front
Mm.
loading album frames, which are the only way to go with this stuff, and which brought them down to $4.99, which was super cheap. And got that puppy up on the wall next to my Monkeys headquarters, America's first album, Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. And then there's a Olivia Newton-John album, and I think a Rocky Mountain High album in frames there. And then they also make, Hobby Lobby has big double. These aren't front loading, but for the albums that opened up,
Mhm.
and you would have a picture going all across the inside of the album. Uh, they make double album frames, and they also make 45 frames as well. And so I have a couple copies of Wings at the Speed of Sound live album. The or not Wings at the Speed of Sound. I'm sorry, Wings Over America live album. And it opens up, and it's kind of, it looks like a poster. It should have been. The album came with several couple posters. One of them was two sided, but they're to promote Hobby Lobby a little further on that one. Every other week, that what they do is they'll switch, and they do this with every department throughout the whole store. They'll have 50% off on all whatever um, yarn stuff, or all stamping, or you know uh, whatever that you're doing. Some way it might be model kits or something like that. So the frames and the decor for that are 50% off, then they do that all 1 week, and then they take a week off, and then they come back the following on the third week. And since the pandemic, they've been doing this with all their sales permanently. And that, so, but it's just a matter of knowing, okay, are we on the off week or what, so you have to call them and say, is this the week that you got the frames on sale, or the scrapbooking stuff, or whatever.
Uh-huh. Around Christmas, Lindsay and I
Ouch.
went there to the local version, and they had, and I was severely tempted, but I don't paint that often. But it was a tabletop easel and paint box,
Hmm.
and it was absolutely deluxe. I mean, you had to supply your own paint to put in it, and your own canvases and whatnot. But it was a really, really neat kit, and it was a really good price. And I hope a lot of people took advantage of it because it was a great deal. And I was severely tempted, but as I say, I don't paint that often
Now,
anymore.
okay,
So,
Dan, because you are a painter, what do they call the tabletop easel paint boxes? They fold together. There's like, I think, a French name or something for them. Those are the ones that you would carry with you. And the newer modern ones, which the one that I have is modern, it has a female threaded insert in the bottom of it, so you can attach it to a tripod. So if you're painting a landscape and you're out somewhere and you won't,
and you want
Yeah.
the full size easel, yeah.
But yeah, but this hole for the box, it opens up, and on the back side is where you would put your canvas, and then you had there's a big deep well, but two slide doors that slide out the side as well, and they cinch up and lock up. But there's a French name for this one, and it has a handle on it, and you carry it and it's like all the painters from centuries that used to use them, and they called it by that name, and now I can't think of it.
I know exactly what
Yeah.
you're talking about, and the word will not come to mind.
No.
And you're right; it is a French term, and it basically it translates to portable easel, or I would call it a toolbox, but I'm American,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
So um, it's what you put all your kit in. So basically, call it a kit. But I do not remember what the French term was back in the day, or even up to now. Um,
And well, they're still called that. My sister-in-law, a couple of years before she passed away, she bought me one of those off of Amazon and sent it to me for my birthday. And I've used it a couple of times where I had to uh, jump up to a bigger 11 by 14 pad to
yes.
do a, a much bigger. I did one of Thor and Loki for as a commission for somebody a couple of years back, and I had to use the 11 by 14 because there was so much involved in it, and I can only draw so small to have the detail. I'm not like some of these others, but
Well, you can always do mixed media and do the painting on the 11 by 14, and then use a teeny tiny ink pen like a 000 Kohinoor or something to add in the absolute microscopic details.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I used to do that, and my art teachers in college told me you're going to lose all that detail if somebody photographs this and shrinks it down to the paperback book cover size that you are aiming to have a career in doing. And I'm going, well, I still want all the details. There were a couple of other words I skipped over there, but yeah, all the details. Yeah, um, because that's the way that I see things.
Mm.
So one of my oil paintings, uh, basically, if you see the one of the astronaut in the little space buggy coming up from the moon and whatever, and you can see that vaguely there's some reflection in his little copper plated helmet of what's inside the space buggy. If you really see that in life sometime, you will have to get a magnifying glass, because I took a magnifying glass and a 000 paintbrush,
mm,
and I painted in the entire reflection of the control board inside,
Wow.
reflected off of his helmet. And that took about 12 hours one day by itself. And I'm just that detail oriented with or was at that time, and I've got to say I still am, even though I don't get to paint that much anymore. I'm looking forward to finishing the fantasy novel I'm working on now, because I am bound and determined I'm going to do a 11 by 14 cover art for that, the entire wraparound cover, and except for the title graphics, the graphics on the spine that give the title and my name and whatever. But I want to do that painting. I really want, even if my publisher says, no, we'll just go with something I've got to pay 50 cents for instead of your free artwork. I don't think that's going to
Mhm.
happen, but you know, uh, I really want to do that because I have not done a painting in um, 12 years or so. And I miss actually being able to sit down and paint. I really do. Now, uh, some some people may think that I'm a fairly decent writer, and I think so myself, but I am also a fairly decent artist, and not only computer graphics, but which, I bow to many superiors on that. But when it comes to handling a paintbrush and a blank canvas, I can turn out some really surprisingly good work. I wouldn't say that I'm pro class in any way, shape, or form, and that's not false modesty. It's realism because I've seen what my mom can do. I've seen what my sister can do. I've seen what my little brother can do. I've seen what my niece can do. I'm just barely in their league, but mom taught me uh, 75% of what I know about painting. Now, art school taught me a lot, but mama taught me a whole lot more. Um, when
And
she
then
first,
and then there's me who
Facade
can draw a
box.
straight line with a ruler.
uh,
I'm I was thinking of a Pashad box, Dan.
oh, okay. No wonder
It
that would not have occurred to me at all. No, no.
Well, it's basically a tabletop easel that the easel's on the back side of the lid, and like I said, it has a deep tray and then one that slide out. Some of them have a bottom drawer in that, and it's just to keep all your stuff in one space. And it even has on the very bottom there is a piece of wood that you can slide up, snap over, and you can slide two different size canvases
Mm.
in the back side, or well, it would be the bottom side, and it has a handle. Everything folds up. Um, I'll have to. The one my sister-in-law bought me, gorgeous, and she would not tell me what she spent on it, so I'm assuming it more than what I would not get mad over. But anyway, but
Mm.
yeah, they're beautiful. Well, and the one thing I'll admit is I am not a painter, so I use it for, my stuff. I'm a painter as much as with the art markers and that, and I don't even do digital yet, which I would like to someday. But the Memorial Day piece that I had you share on Stupid O'Clock, that
Uh-huh.
was actually mixed media from Azure um, paint markers, Prismacolor colored pencils, and pit pens.
Oh,
And that's how I get around not being able to work with oils or acrylics or whatever.
mixed media
We're
is
on the
its own
same
challenge.
side on that one. Yeah,
Yep.
I don't
And
do
and
anything.
what you're talking about, I would call an artist's briefcase, basically. Even though I know
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's the other actual term for it, but in my mind, this is what somebody totes around and go, okay, I'm sitting in a cafe in Paris and I've got the river in front of me and I've got this and that and I'm gonna paint a picture here and open it up, pull everything out, and go to town. Um,
Yeah, that's basically what they look like.
oh, that's the deluxe one. Yeah, yeah. That's a
Yeah.
really nice one.
So
Yep.
they,
Yep. The one I was
yeah.
talking about is much smaller and metal rather
Hmm.
than wooden. Um, and uh, I kind of wish that I'd went ahead and bought it, but then I would rarely ever get to use it. So I would prefer that somebody who was a real artist got a shot to buy those. And being how it's Athens, Georgia, there are lots and lots and lots of people in the art school over here at the university that could put that to good use. And me taking one out of circulation would have
So
been probably a crime.
so here's your typical French easel. And so
Yeah.
when you think about it, it is a Pashad box, but that already has the attached tripod, which flip up, as like in the days of Van Gogh or whatever,
Yep. The one I was
Monet,
thinking
what
of
have you.
is the one that I've been talking about is more of a tabletop. It doesn't have extendable legs. It's not that
Yeah, let's see
deluxe a
that.
package. Yep.
So the one that I have, like I say, in the bottom of it, there's a female threaded insert, and you could basically get a photographer's tripod
Yeah.
and use it for that, which I've been not so much to want to go out and paint nature and that. Otherwise, I would probably I could get a photographer's tripod at the auction, about
Mm.
$5 or $10. Nobody seems to want them. There's one person in the auction who's a photo nut, but other than him, nobody else bids on that stuff. But I just don't go out, and if I did, I would probably go out to where I sit down and it's like, oh yeah, I can do it here from this picnic table or whatever. But
Oh,
yeah, typically you could screw that in there, and it's wonderful, and I will use that again, because my first thought was I don't want to sit hunched over a desk or whatever doing things, and which that's what I'm finding myself doing right now. This table here was supposed to be dual use for my artwork as well as uh, doing the shows and all this here, to be part of it. Studio is supposed to be art studio as well as as this studio, but
you find
I
out
got too
you're
many.
using it more and more often for being on a show rather than
Yeah.
doing your art. I'm
Well, I
guessing.
just and I don't know if I can turn things around on here, but I have too many toys on there,
Excuse
and
me.
and and no place
Is
to
there
put my art
is
supplies.
there actually such a thing as too many toys?
Well,
I
not to
would
me, and you probably know that by now, but
I would say there is a decided absence of storage space for the available toys.
well,
But
yeah, well, that's true. If I want to have, and I could, I have shelves full of them, and then of course these guys behind me here, they keep well, that's Spider-Man blinking back there, all the hot toys
mm,
Dan,
and
I
that.
forgot to tell you that Dungeons and Dragons movie was fairly.
Bad.
It was not well received, but it also has Tom Baker as one of the supporting cast members.
yeah, and unfortunately, Tom was not able to save the movie.
No,
Now there was
So,
a movie about Dungeons and Dragon, or people who play Dungeons and Dragons, and how they all went a very dark way or something. And I want to say that it was not the first movie that Chris Makepeace was in, because I believe that was Meatballs with Bill Murray in
yeah,
'79. But one of them,
Um,
I think this was a TV movie
I
that came
started
out
to
in
ask.
'80 or '81.
we
Yep.
have an alien sighting.
that
There
was
there
before my
are
time.
there are a couple, but they were made for TV, and they were uh, the
It was
the script made it seem as if playing Dungeons and Dragons automatically led to someone murdering somebody else,
Mm,
Yeah.
as if it
well,
were an inevitable uh, law of physics, basically. I've seen a couple like that, and I'm
the
going, y'all don't have
yeah.
the meanest idea. You don't even have a firm grasp of psychology, much less criminology.
yeah.
Well, to be
Uh,
fair, there might have been those who lured people into that, but I think the
yeah,
best
but it's not.
recollection.
I mean, your average bunch of college kids playing D&D back in the day did not wind up luring strangers into the local sewer system and cutting them up into cat food or something.
Hey.
Well, I think the best
you.
recollection of the story to this one particular movie was that a group of maybe high school, college age kids, whatever, got together to play this. It got to be more and more involved. The others kind of went, whoa, and they kind of backed out. But then one, it was too far gone for him. And then they had to go try to find him before he committed suicide or something or other. But whatever it was, I do believe it was one of Chris Makepeace's early films.
And,
The
and,
thing
and
is,
in Stephanie's favor, I will re-edit that to go Coyote Chow.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
well,
Um,
it's like people trying to say Kiss stood for Knights in Satan's Service
It didn't.
because they wore makeup and acted
Yeah.
weird and all that stuff.
If
Oh,
if
that was
it's
just
if it
kabuki.
if it stood for anything, it was keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, it didn't stand for anything. It was just, hey, we can make something with this, and we can get kids to buy records. And okay, you play this guitar, and I'll play this one.
Jim
Yeah.
was like, I don't care as long as we get to play music, we make a ton of money.
Yeah.
And
I'm running out of steam, guys.
Hmm?
yeah, that's understandable. Oh, one other thing I was going to tell you, Stephanie, I think
Yeah.
another reason why women are getting more into D&D now, not that there weren't beforehand, but when it was revealed that Joey Manganiello enjoyed playing D&D, I'm sure that got a lot of women interested because he was in True Blood and Magic Mike and a few other things.
Yeah, well, I mean, The Rock Johnson is a gigantic D&D player too.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is. Yes,
So,
he
like,
is.
it's obviously role playing. You know,
It's just a game, folks.
yeah,
And it's people discovering something that they might not have thought about before, and they've had a good time with it.
Hmm.
yeah,
If you
And
get in with the right people that enjoy playing it and know how to play it, and you've got a good dungeon master, you're going to have a good experience.
exactly.
and then there are people like me who were playing D&D and occasionally had to DM, and nobody would follow the script that you wrote for 2 weeks. So you
No,
decided
don't
to
you,
start
don't you.
writing fiction according to your little dungeon you worked out. And that just
No.
happened to work because, you had these good ideas. It's just you wound up with these people that had these god level characters that you did not anticipate that
Mhm.
could totally trash your carefully constructed dungeon, uh, and then you had to step up your game as a DM just a little
Mhm.
bit and put a hurt on them.
Yeah.
I remember one time uh, these folks that were 20 plus godlike characters wandered in, and they were thinking it's going to be a complete cakewalk. And the first room they walked into started slowly stripping them of their stats
Hmm.
moment by moment until they figured out, yes, there's a magic eater here.
Hmm.
And it took
The
quite a
movie
while.
I was thinking about, Chris Makepeace in about the D&D stuff was Mazes and Monsters with Tom Hanks.
Mm. Well, okay, yeah. Have yet to see a bad movie with Tom Hanks. Some of them I wouldn't want to watch a second time, but it wasn't because of him.
Yeah.
Much apologies for the sudden outburst of no a while ago. Somebody was after chewing on the cord
Oh,
for my
Yeah.
headset. So
That's
would-
perfectly understandable.
that would not be fun.
no,
Mhm.
not for
No.
anybody.
No,
I think he would find it a shocking experience.
indeed.
Yeah, you'd be reenacting a certain scene in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Pew, pew, pew. Oh, I'm sorry, baby.
I've seen some Looney Tune cartoons like that too.
Yeah.
It's
Shocking
all
as
right.
the
I'm
It's all
glad.
operative
right.
I'm
was.
glad Joe wasn't here to hear that because he has been known to dress up as Sylvester from time to time.
That's okay. That's okay. Donna dresses up as Granny and
Yeah,
Yeah.
keeps him under a tight leash.
and they do have the little Tweety bird in the cage.
Yep.
Hmm.
I actually got to see that live once. Do believe it was a Liberty Con,
Yeah.
and I recognized Deborah, but I did not know it was Joe Dog. I didn't know. Um, Sometimes I am so unobservant. Let me say that when the reveal came, it was one of those. I'm gonna get you for that
Mhm.
moments.
That was one of the most popular ones he ever did.
hmm Well, it was so well done.
Oh
It
yeah,
really was. Oh,
no doubt about it.
oh, and going back to D&D, remember, folks, there's a world of difference between D&D and
Out.
LARP,
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
and not that either one of them are in any way bad. They are their own brands of fun.
Oh, I
And you,
thought Robin Williams was good in the world according to LARP.
Bill, if I ever hire a dominatrix, you're the one I'm going to turn her loose on.
I hope so.
You better. It's my money.
Oh boy.
Oh, guys, I'm
Oh,
gonna have to throw in the towel. It's been a very busy, very physical day for me, and I'm worn, slap out.
Yeah. Go
Well,
get
we
some rest.
I
appreciate you
understand.
sticking around for as long as you did.
Hey, we've already gone through almost an hour and a half here of just
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
stuff.
know, but I just don't
Almost.
think I can make it the rest of the time.
I,
I'm
I'm
Oh,
laying
proud
no
of
fat.
worries.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
thank you
supposed to go
very
spray.
much.
Well, I will see y'all next week.
All right.
Take it
yeah,
Good
easy,
night.
guys.
Take
Be well.
care.
looking forward to it.
I hope you sleep well.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to be following her out the door. I don't have a early morning appointment, but I got one in the afternoon that I want to try to get done early enough. Over there, trying to waging war on weeds in the driveway over at Laura's dad's place.
Mhm.
And he has a very, very long driveway. And with all this heat that we're getting ready to have, it's supposed to be in the upper 80s tomorrow and in the 90s for the first part of the week. And that's really, and it's going to be dry until midweek. So
Well,
hot and
that's
dry.
a good time to spray for weeds, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went, went to Lowe's and bought a couple jugs of Ortho Ground Clear, and we're going to go
Mhm.
to town on them and try to get a head start on them this year because last year we wanted to do it, but Laura's sister, who actually owns the property, is very anti-chemical, and she's so anyway.
Gonna have to
I'm
sneak
we're
that one past her.
Oh yes, I do it behind the back, and we don't keep the chemicals there. Actually, I keep them in the trunk of my car for when I go over there.
It's just
And
water. It's just water, I swear.
well, you know what her dad did? He took a uh, Ortho Ground Clear bottle and he took the label off of it, peeled it little by little, and got the entire label off of the whole container. And he wrote in magic marker paint thinner across the sides of it. So she's thinking he's using it for something else and he's doing the same thing. But
Mhm.
anyway, it's been great. and glad got to see y'all, and
It's
glad
always
you
a
got to
pleasure,
see
Bill.
me.
Yeah.
It's
But
always a
we
pleasure.
will
We'll
we will
see
be
you
back
next
Thursday.
week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'll be working days next week. I might be working long hours on those days, but I will be getting off from work in time to do the shows.
Okay.
Uh, Thursday's Last Man Standing may only be an hour rather than two, but
Uh,
it's only because I had to go to work that Friday morning and work a 12-hour day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh,
well,
you
it.
take care of yourself, and thank you very
Yeah.
much for showing up tonight. We really enjoy having you here.
Yeah. You guys take care too, and we'll see you on the flip flop.
Good
Alrighty.
luck with all that.
Yeah, and now Chris has got to shift over, so he's actually on camera.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh Lord. Um, we
Yeah.
have we have covered quite a few topics tonight. Some of them interconnected, and some of them totally at random, which is what we
Yeah.
do best.
Well,
Yeah.
if my connection would have been a little bit better, I could have finished some of those conversation wrap ups a little sooner instead of having to come back to it.
Hey, don't worry about it. I mean,
Yeah. It happens.
uh, we've got people that will watch this stuff on the replay tomorrow or during the next 6 months, and they'll be never the wiser. So
Mhm.
don't worry about it.
Besides, it's not like we don't go from one subject to another and go back to the one we started on a time or two before that one.
Oh, if not one that we covered 2 weeks ago and never said another word about. Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
that yeah, topic drift is one of the things we're really good at.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well, it adds to the variety and the
it
suspense
does.
because you never know what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I don't know what I'm going to say next, so
I don't either, and I'll think of something, and then somebody will get talking and get talk about another subject I'll get interested in, and I forget what I was going to say about the previous subject, and takes me 20 minutes or more to remember what I was going to say about the one before that one.
yeah. Well, we can always kind of drift this away or that away or
Mm-hmm.
whichever, but every which way but loose.
And
Um,
we often do.
I might have a challenge for you, Dan.
oh yes,
So I don't know if you've seen my Facebook lately, but I've been uploading a lot of animation, and
I
I'm
have seen
working.
I have seen some stills that you've been working on.
So I'm working on a pilot episode for La Fancora.
Okay, yeah.
Would you like to try and make an intro soundtrack for it?
What, you want me to do a voiceover?
No, I want you to do the soundtrack.
Oh, the music.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I will have to pay close attention to all of it so that I could get the feel for it. But yes, I would be delighted. Um, okay. What kind of deadline am I facing?
Uh, it's pretty slow burn right now. The intro is about 22 seconds, and I need it to be like 30. So I'm extending it slightly. So it would be a couple more weeks until it's actually done, and then you got the full animatic, and then it's essentially whatever you feel is right. No
Okay,
deadline whatsoever. Just enjoy doing it.
I would have to see it so that I could get a feel of what kind of music would fit best. Um, and it's going to be a real challenge to hold it down to under a minute for the way that I work.
Yeah.
Uh, now, if you know my music, you know that uh, 8 minutes is short for me. But I can work to a um, a specific what is it? Not time. Yeah, time limit. Yes, I can work to a specific time limit. That is the right words. I was hunting for something else to call it, but no, that's yeah. The timing is everything. So it would have to be um, do this, peak here,
Hmm.
down a little here, and then close off with this a little bit stronger. But you've got something there you're about to share, and that would be wonderful. We'd be more than happy to see it.
So this is what I got so far. It's all animatics. It's very basic, but it gets the feeling of the whole thing.
Okay.
You would have to click share.
No, you would have to click share. See what
Mhm.
you've got the share pulled up. You have to go back to it and hit play and then come back here.
No, you should be able to share screen. Like you
And
can. There we go. And now I can play.
okay.
There we go. So yeah, there's no music yet, but the flow is nice. It gets the point across. There's a few more things I got to add and make it a little longer. But yeah, it's
Okay. All right. Um do you want um modern, orchestral, what style would you prefer?
uh, that is the thing. Like I have absolutely no idea because music and I know what I like as music, but I don't know what would fit very well these kinds of for this kind of music. My old roomie did a song for the trailer of issues 3 and 5, which I can show off to give you a bit of an idea. Comics, Love and Korra, 5 trailer. Let me see. Why doesn't that have sound? Let's see.
Don't have a share screen yet either.
No, because I'm looking up the right file.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Share screen. And screen 2. I'm not sure if it's going to allow sounds because I'm on
Well,
Firefox right now. But we'll see.
let's see.
Does it have sound?
I don't
Don't
hear
hear
anything.
don't
Okay.
hear anything yet.
Um, Let me get you the YouTube link in that case. So you can share it yourself or listen to it at least.
Well, if it's a YouTube link, then you would be able to do just exactly what you just did, except it would be a YouTube screen instead of something inside your computer.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you're on Firefox, it doesn't allow for sharing music or sharing sound.
Oh,
And it only works on Chrome. But I shared the link in the private chat. Give you a feeling. I personally really like that kind of thing. Um,
well,
Sorry, I was playing it in the background.
I was trying to hit pause and it just didn't want to pause here. So let me see here. Let's see. Share screen. Um,
it should have a checkbox for music if you're
oh,
on Chrome.
it's trying to. bugger. Usually I can get it share a Chrome tab, but it's not giving me that choice now.
If you grab the tab with your left mouse button, just single click, and you drag it down, it opens in a new window. And then you should be able to share that.
That's not working. Let's see. Oh, okay. Now I found it.
Woo!
Now come over here and add the stream and go
There we
here.
go.
And it's not showing the sound.
It is. I'm hearing it.
Oh, okay. All right, I am going to have to listen to it on my own because I did not hear any of the sound.
That is odd.
Let me see. Here we go. And I'm not hearing it at all when
That
I
is weird.
should. Yeah, really. And I'm playing it on my own.
Check your volume mixer. Maybe you put down Chrome's sound completely.
Nope. It should be playing really loud. But
It's weird.
yeah, I think it's because I've got these Bluetooth headset on. Let me see. I will bookmark that so that I can listen to it after the show. And you know, that's okay. Now I did hear a little bit, and it sounded semi-classical, semi-rock kind of blend.
Yeah, it's my roomie was like, "Ooh, I can finally use these guttural drum samples that I've been trying to get into something for years." And it was originally created for issue 3, which is about rock people. So it fit that a little bit more, but the beats fit this one too. So that's why I added it as well, because it's mine anyway. I commissioned him, so it's.
Yep. Okay, I'll give it a shot, and if you don't like it, I'm not going to feel bad. Um, Composing for someone else is always a challenge because they have their idea of what they want, and then you have your idea of what you can do, and
Yeah.
sometimes the twain do not meet very well.
Well, that's why I love working with independent creators. And anyone I work with right now will tell you, like, creative freedom is one of the biggest things that I offer. Because there's very few things that I don't like. Like, if my color, because same with my colorist, for example, she has complete creative freedom. Um, if there's little points, that need to be in the coloring, I will point her to that. you made a little mistake here, or this character needs to have a little more fluffing out because it's a main character. They need to be recognizable, stuff like that. But other than that, like what I get from her is what I take.
Yeah.
And I want to do the same. Like I did the same for the trailer music for the campaigns. My roomie just enjoyed what he did, and that's how it's supposed to be done, in my opinion. So yeah, do what you like, do what you think would fit the beats, and otherwise have fun. That's the
Oh,
most important part.
definitely, definitely. Let me see if I can pull this up and make it have sound. I'm not sure. Um, okay. And now come over here and and see if I can get it to actually play.
Sounds good to me.
Well, I can't hear it at all. So, and it's
Oh,
my stuff.
that is. Wait, hold on. I might know what's going on. When you share your screen, there might be a checkbox saying "Mute sound in your browser" while sharing your screen.
Okay. Well, don't see that, but let's see. Let's see. Share system audio.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and I'm still not hearing.
So weird.
Oh well, it's okay. That's one of the things that I.
Yeah, I know. I have been listening to your stuff. It's great work music.
Well, yeah, and there are several that are there's stuff that's uh supposedly for meditation, and there's stuff that's supposedly for well, I don't know what to call it, and then there's stuff that's just fun. So,
Yeah.
okay, that got all the share crap out of the way. Now, did we? No, Chris is still there.
Hmm.
He'll add himself back to the screen, or I'll add him if he says "add me" or nods his head or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There we
So
go.
there you go.
I
Sorry about
don't have admin, so I can't.
Yeah.
you. Can't add yourself.
No.
No, you can't add yourself unless you're an admin.
Oh. Well, let's see here. We've got okay, we've got about 15 minutes till the end of the show. I will have to. I bookmarked the one that your friend did.
Mhm.
I'm very sorry that I was not able to figure out how to play my own stuff in here.
Yeah,
Um,
I
even
heard
though,
it.
yeah,
yeah.
well, y'all got to hear it. I didn't. I didn't. So,
Yeah.
um, I'm not going to count that as a total failure, but wasn't able to go. Oh yeah, I'm not real happy about this part, but wait 3 more measures, and this is really good.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I like having other independent creators do their part, and when I'm behind a project, I am behind that project and I want to see it finished. So right now I'm only working on the intro, and the final pilot will be issue 5 because people massively uh, went for that one in a poll.
Hmm.
Um, and so I'm going to be starting to storyboard that eventually in full. But for now, the storyboard, the intro is just to get myself used to animating, and it's so much fun.
Mm.
And I just want to see this thing come to life. So you
Now,
know,
believe it or not, my niece is doing the same thing for
nice.
her college classes,
Hmm.
and she is hoping. Oh, she's on a Disney scholarship.
Oh wow.
She's she's hoping to start working for Disney as a background animator and whatnot. Um, but she has just started college, and she's doing really well with the classes that she's got.
Nice.
She's down in Savannah, Georgia, which is several hours south of us now,
Yeah, that's
and she
actually on the coast.
yep,
Hmm.
she has shown the family some of her work that was a class assignment,
Hmm.
and everybody's going ooh ah ooh because it is that good. But no, no, she has been an outstanding artist all of her life. But she has the natural advantage of my mom taught me, my brother and my sister, and my brother has only just picked up a paintbrush, and nobody knew he knew which end of it to hold on to, and turned out to be amazing. My
Nice.
sister is really good, but she lacked the self confidence to tackle it as early as I did.
Hmm.
Now, my niece, Mama taught her from diaper age to high school graduate. So she's got the she's got the real deal right there. And she's getting
So
all
she's
these
phenomenal.
oh yeah, she is beyond phenomenal. She's just record breaking phenomenal. Um,
Um, so I'm taking it she's at the Savannah College of Art and Design.
mhm. I do
Nice.
believe that is the right one.
I mean,
SCAD for short.
Hmm.
in this day and age, and this is not to bash any art student or whatsoever, you can learn everything through the internet. The thing that you're going to get most out of your art college is going to be network.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I mean,
Well, there are skills that your previous teachers did not know
yeah,
how to give you,
yeah,
and that's what she's learning. Stuff that
yeah. She wasn't
mom
aware of.
or
yeah.
my sister or anybody else in the family or her teachers through school here in this rural farmland did not
Mhm.
know to be able to give her,
Yeah.
and she's learning a whole lot, and she's picking it up faster than
That's
well
awesome.
let's say flying blind on a rocket sled. She's picking it up like nobody's business because she's got that much natural talent, and she has this advantage of having this classical education which nobody in school was able to give her, but mom was.
Yeah.
Uh, my mom started off back in uh, the early 1950s before she even graduated high school. Her first job while she was still in high school was hand tinting black and white photographs into
Mm.
color.
Hmm.
And mom has gone on from there to to winning um, lots of competitions and little local awards and things like that. State fair blue ribbons on stuff, and Mom has one. Mom hates doing watercolor, but there is one that she did that is worthy of being included in any museum of art worldwide. I would put
Nice.
her up. I would put her up against any of the classic artists from, the
Wow.
early 1900s. I mean, it looks like a Monet, is what it looks like.
Cool.
Nice.
And she did it, and she hates it because it didn't turn out as good as she wanted it. And
Well,
I'm going,
Sometimes we're our own worst critics.
yeah.
well, yeah, we are, we are. There's, I'll look at stuff I go and I do, and I go, "Mm, I I lost concentration on that 6 by 6 square inches, but over here I was really on point in this other 6 by 6 square inches. I'm working on
Yeah.
24 by 48 foot canvas. Uh, uh,
While
yeah.
I'm thinking about it, would you say my description of your friend's music for that video that you played earlier is correct?
Yeah, no, that's about right.
Oh,
Yeah, that sounds like hitting the point. But again, I'm not a music guy when it comes
Yeah.
down to it. So like,
That's
I,
just what I got from. I listened to most of it. I didn't listen to all of it, but it was pretty cool. And like I said, it seemed fitting for the the animation that you had it mated with.
yeah, yeah, that was what I was going for. Well, it was the second trailer it was in. It's more fitting for the first one.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's to fit the animation. And other than that, I gave them complete freedom on it.
Hmm.
Because if you don't, you're gonna get something that doesn't have any soul in it.
Yeah, you want them to do their best work that
Yeah,
they can come up with for it
all
because
right.
it's just going to make your stuff better.
and I'm not always right, and I fully admit that. So, and I know I'm usually not right. There's a couple of things where I go, no, this is my idea, so fuck you. But for the most part, you know,
Yeah,
y-
but you're smart enough to realize that
yeah,
and
yeah,
humble enough to admit it.
Oh
exactly.
yeah.
That doesn't always happen with somebody that's in charge with creative stuff.
Mm-mm.
You really, usually with creative people, it's either this might be good, or I'm the best ever.
Mm-hmm.
And usually there's no middle ground. Um, let me see if this will come out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it on Facebook.
That's the one I was talking about where this is 2 by 4 feet,
Mm.
and over here in the astronaut's helmet, the entire control panel and the inside of this little space capsule is reflected with
Wow.
a 000 brush.
Wow.
Hold on, let me go
Oh,
around.
yep, I did that one a long time ago,
Yeah, that's a
and
really low res picture. If you have a proper scanner, um, yeah, mine isn't even that big enough, but you should be able to get at least that part of it scanned in 1200 dpi, so you can actually see what's going on. You can actually see.
oh yeah, I've actually I can take a photograph of it and scan it at beyond microscopic quality.
Yeah.
I've got one that I did. I had a map of a hand drawn map of the planet of where the short stories and novels that I've been writing took place in. The map was destroyed in a house
Oh
fire.
no.
I found a photograph.
Oh.
I scanned the photograph, and the DPI I scanned it at came out with an image that was about um 12 by 8 feet on the
Yeah,
side.
Wow.
It got everything. And
yeah.
I've been trying to reproduce the map using computer graphics instead of the original,
Hmm.
because the original didn't. Well, it was beautiful. It really was beautiful, but I wanted something that I could add more detail in now that I've had an extra 30 years worth of thinking about the details of the stories that everything related to. Let me see if I can find the plastic thing.
I think you showed
Um,
me last time when we ended up going for like 4 hours by accident.
Yeah, that was. I remember you showing me a picture of it. It was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Um, Before I forget, Dan, um, yesterday was Christopher Lee's birthday, the 27th, that Friday, that is, because
Christopher Lee and Vincent Price and Grand Moff Tarkin.
Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing. Yes, they all. If I remember correctly, they all shared the same birthday.
Well, it was also the 5th anniversary of Greg Allman's death.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, I miss Greg. I really do.
Yeah.
He had always done outstanding stuff, and I miss
Now,
Greg.
he was, I believe, underrated and underappreciated as a musician by a number of folks. Now, those that were true fans of him did not
Hmm.
underappreciate him or uh, not acknowledge the impact he had on music, but
Hmm.
his
Uh,
influence is undeniable.
yep. He and his brother Dwayne and uh, was it Butch Trucks or is that the son?
Derek Trucks.
Derek. Um, um, all of them were criminally underappreciated, even though people bought millions of their albums.
I think it
Um,
was Derek. It was Derek the son.
that's what I think Derek is the son. Butch
Yeah.
was the elder, and if
Yeah.
if if the boys had not took up motorcycle riding, we'd still be having Allman Brothers albums today. But
Oh man,
uh,
and can you imagine if Dickie Betts had Dwayne Allman pushing him,
oh Lord,
and he was still a damn good guitarist afterwards, but he lost some of that fire when Dwayne died. And
every musician needs somebody standing behind them, kicking them in the butt, going, "Hey, you can do better. Let's try this. Take four, okay?"
and sometimes you don't even have to say it; just being there makes you a better musician
Uh
around
huh.
him, which I
Yeah.
think
And
was
and
the case
and
with Derek.
that's the thing that when you have that kind of work going on, it doesn't matter whether it's uh, music or art or uh, well, I'm trying to find another word to go in there, but I can't.
Music, art, writing, anything creative, really.
Yes,
When you have somebody else that you can bounce ideas off of, and you can perform alongside live,
Yes.
you heterodyne off of each other, and it becomes much more than the sum of its parts. It's like getting telepathic. You're
well,
you're in you're inside each other's mind because you have played alongside each other. You know what the other guy's going to do as they do it, not before they do it, but as they do it, but almost instantly. You hear the key change, you hear the chord progression, and all of a sudden you're right there in the moment, and you can switch when they switch. without
They have a
being told they're
synergy,
going to switch. Yeah, synergy, that's the word. Yes.
and Dwayne and Eric Clapton. Oh man, when they got together, Derek and the
Hmm.
Dominoes.
Yes, yes. Exactly. That's still, if you listen to that, if you listen to Derek and the Dominoes, that one release they had, the album itself,
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're living in each other's head.
Mhm.
All of
And
them knew what the other ones were going to do as they did it.
Dwayne had that effect on more than just Eric Clapton and Dickie Betts. I mean, he even went and affected Wilson Pickett because he
Mm.
tried to get Wilson Pickett to do it, and Wilson like, well, I don't think I need to be doing that. He's like, I don't think you can do it. He said, I'm Wilson Pickett. I can do anything I want,
Prove it, motherfucker.
and he did. But
Record
he needed somebody to
to
do that, and
challenge
Dwayne
him.
Allman
Yeah,
did it. And
yeah.
Dwayne was like that.
Prove it. Let's do it now.
Yeah.
Start the tape recorder. Let's get it going.
And
Let's
and
get it
and
on.
and the reason that happened is Dwayne decided he wanted to go to Muscle Shoals
Yep.
and
And
play with those famous musicians.
there was a huge number of people there that were enormously experienced and had their own way of working. And if you could slide in there and fit in, magic happened. That's all. That's all. That's all I can. That's the only way I can describe it. Magic happened, and you got these beautiful, beautiful recordings by
Mhm.
a huge number of people.
I
But
would
you had
say,
all these folks that were top of their class, absolutely master class musicians, even if they came from humble beginnings and did not have music theory education. They could play.
well, I would say the Swampers and Toto are probably the
Mm.
best studio musician players
Mm.
in the 20th century.
You know, we have been blessed by an enormous number of not only musical but literary and uh, visual artists in our lifetimes, and
Just the
some of them are underappreciated,
yeah,
and some of them are gone now and just
hmm
beginning to be appreciated. I mean, I couldn't tell you the number of people who I have introduced to Lou Reed or David Bowie or whatever, and they're gone but not forgotten.
yep.
And folks just go, "Why didn't I hear about this before?" And we're
Yeah.
going, "Yeah, well, they had a few things on the radio, but they had a lot of stuff that never hit the radio that's even better."
Well,
Mhm.
I was listening to Sirius XM and Jim Florentine. He's a comedian and he does this show called Metal Midgets on Ozzy's Boneyard.
Hmm.
Well, he played a Motorhead song that after the original guitarist left the band, they got somebody from Tin Lizzy.
Hmm.
And of course, Phil Lano's one of the better bass players and soulful singers in that period. And there's a lot of people that eventually discover him. Like, man, how come I didn't know about this guy? Well, you got to know to somebody to introduce you to it, or you won't.
You really there are things that you are introduced to publicly, like on the radio, and then there are things that your friends have to clue you into.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And now, if you if you like Motorhead, Lemmy was one hell of a bass player.
Yep.
And
Oh
the
yeah.
band that he was in before is called Hawkwind, which is a little known band that I only have 65 albums by. Um, I mean, they're Hawkwind is like Frank Zappa. You might have heard one or two songs, but there's this huge back catalog that you really owe it to yourself to listen to. There's another fellow one I think is uh, and he's getting on in years now. Uh, he's probably the finest living poet on the planet. His name is Bill Nelson. He used to record with a band called Bebop Deluxe.
I know that one.
Hmm.
I've heard the
And
name before.
Yeah.
well, look, Chris, you're not going to find an awful lot on YouTube that has decent video, but you can find stuff that is audio only
Mm,
with just a still photograph that has stuff from their albums, and it is breathtakingly beautiful work. Now you can find um, Bill has done stuff with the Gentlemen Rocketeers, which is it's a group he's put together so that he can jam a bit and play and you know introduce young people to the old stuff as well as the new stuff he's been working on. And there's a live video or two out there that
mm,
is well worth taking in. And this is I'm talking really, really astounding ability to play and to compose and to write material that winds up as vocals that is some of the finest poetry that's ever been created. And
Hmm.
I brag about Bebop Deluxe. I brag about Bill Nelson. It, if anybody ever listens to me and goes, "I'm going to check this out," and does, and goes, "This is some cool stuff." Um, my work is done.
mm. Did you see that post that I shared on your wall on your Facebook page about Robert Fripp doing like a seminar?
How long ago was it? I don't remember.
It was only been within the past couple weeks, maybe three at
Okay,
the most.
okay, okay. I probably did not because I was working the extended schedule at the
Yeah,
factory, and I've not been able to stay current on Facebook for the last month.
but
Uh,
he's doing like a class. I think it's in upper state New York,
mm,
Hmm.
where he's going to show you how to be a better guitar player and all. And he goes into this thing. Anyway, I shared it on your Facebook wall, so
I'm gonna
you
have
can
to
go back
I'm
and
gonna have to look that up because Robert Fripp is another one of those people. Um, Now, back in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s, Fripp and Brian Eno worked together infrequently, but always to astounding content. I mean, I mean, okay, if you've ever heard of King Crimson, you know who Robert
hmm
Fripp is because whenever Robert Fripp said, "I want to do another King Crimson album," thousands of people that have ever worked with King Crimson before go,
Hmm.
sign me up. I mean, we're talking folks from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. We're talking folks
yeah.
from, I mean, I can, the list
Well,
goes on too long for me.
one of my
Wetton and,
favorite bass players uh, had a super group but before he was in that super group, he was in King Crimson. John
Hmm.
Wetton of Asia.
John. Yep. John Wetton was in King Crimson.
Yep.
Uh, uh, Greg Lake.
I'm guessing mid 70s to late 70s.
Greg Lake was in King Crimson. Um a few people from Yes were in King Crimson.
I mean, they
Good
more or
Burger.
less invented progressive rock, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
and it wasn't okay. Um, early King Crimson is like early T-Rex.
Okay.
If you don't get it,
Hmm.
you
So
will
psychedelic pop with a little bit of edge.
you if you don't get it right then, you will get it when you mature a little bit and you
Yeah.
have heard a lot of other stuff to compare it to. Um, but uh,
Yeah, the thing that got me turned on to T Rex was the Power Station's cover of Bang a Gong, Get It On.
mhm, yep. And then you go back and you find out this is some god awful Tolkien influence stuff with some silly lyrics that probably took 10 minutes to compose, but turned into a 45-minute song.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Um, I would put Crimson and T Rex and I can't remember the third one. I would put them on the same par with uh, uh, Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bills when he
Hmm.
was first out. This
Yeah.
is that kind of dedication to getting the sound correct
Yeah.
and being able to play off of one another. Although Oldfield did everything by himself
Well,
until
I'll tell
he
you
absolutely had to have help. But
another one who was obsessed with getting his sound right and even wound up getting divorced because of it is Eric Johnson. If you've
yes,
ever heard of Eric Johnson,
hmm
his Cliffs of Dover has one of the best introductions of any song you will
Oh,
ever.
and did you ever wonder why there were only like 3 Boston albums? Because the dude was obsessed with getting every sound perfect.
And he also was determined when they did Third Stage to produce all those sounds without any electronic synthesizers or keyboards.
Hmm
So they had to learn to play and utilize guitar technology to emulate those sounds.
Yep. Guitar stomp boxes are us. Yes. I once built an entire synthesizer out of guitar stomp boxes.
huh.
It was really weird. It was uh, it was an experiment. I had time. I was off from work that week, and I just wired up all these guitar stomp boxes and a wah wah pedal, and I experimented with plugging them up in different sequences and whatever, and let one of them be a tone generator, and just kind of modified the settings over and over and over again, and I created an entire album of stuff that was very much kind of Tonto's expanding headband sort of material.
Hmm.
So if yeah, I saw eyebrows lift there, so I know you know what I'm talking about. Marguerite and Cecil with a synthesizer that wound up being the background for scenes in Phantom of the Paradise. The big humongous room size synthesizer
Hmm.
back in the day because it was all analog. It wasn't. There was no digital to be had.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unless you were in a band that had money and
Yeah.
somebody that was really good at playing with synthesizers and technology,
Hmm.
you couldn't get that sound from just any band. Keith Emerson, was one of those that could pull it off. Of course, was it Bill Brute? No, Rick Wakeman of Yes,
Yes, indeed.
and of course, Jeff Downs of the Buggles and Asia and Icon and
Yep.
various other projects that he was involved with.
I'm glad that Rick is still with us. I really am. I miss Keith very, very much.
Yeah.
Uh, but these guys, they paved the way and they held the door open and go, "Hey, look over here, just you know, this way. Walk this way.
I, I,
No, no,
I will mention
like this."
I will mention another keyboard synthesizer player that doesn't get enough credit, I believe, is Greg Giuffria.
Yeah. Jean-Michel Jarre is another one.
Yeah.
Um,
And speaking
Lyric.
of guitar synthesizers, before I forget, Neil Sean is
Oh,
very
yeah,
good stuff.
definitely. Larry Fast of Synergy
Hmm.
does not get enough credit for all the pioneering work he did when synthesizers were patch cord stuff that you plug and
Hmm.
play. Um,
And
Lord,
John Lord probably needs some mention as well of Deep
definitely,
Purple.
definitely. And there now that was back in the day when there was a difference between a synthesizer player
Hmm.
and a keyboard player.
Yeah.
Because that distinction has gotten blurred over the past few decades.
Well,
But
also people have gotten better at playing both.
yeah, uh, and you back in the day, there was a way to do sequences
Hmm.
and play keyboards at the same time.
In
And
fact,
then
I would say um, John Lord and Greg Raleigh of Germany are two of the best Hammond B3 players that can play keyboards and synthesizers and pianos.
mhm, definitely, definitely. Um, now,
Holy crap, we're running over.
we've
Yeah.
r-
We are.
we've run over by nearly half an hour. If y'all want to call it quits, we can. It's no big deal. Um, we are. I've already got the outro ready to click on.
Yeah.
We can go on about music for another 6 or 8 days and not cover
Yeah.
everything.
That,
Um,
that, that, that's the rabbit hole for me and Dan.
yeah, and I'm glad you got to take this particular trip down the rabbit hole with us, Jimmy. Uh,
Pleasure
hey,
as always.
so we will just call it a night.
Yeah, we did about 6 hours one night, didn't we, Dan?
Whoops.
Yeah, and then someone else decided, oh, well, we're going to do 6 hours and 2 minutes. I'll show those buggers.
No apologizing.
Oh Lord. But this is probably going to be one of the most watched ones of everything on my channel. So
Yeah,
we shall see. Uh, the future is as of yet unwritten,
definitely. And like I said, I
and
always enjoy talking about music with you.
oh yeah, yeah. It's one of those rabbit holes I'd love to fall down. Uh,
It's fun.
Yep. So I have got that piece for your friend's piece to go with your animation that I can listen to whenever everything is not dedicated to the chat here. And I will give that a good listen, and I will see what I can turn out
Yeah.
and get back with you on that. And then we will go from there. So,
Oh, one thing I found out I was not aware of, Dan, and it may not, it may only be in my area right now. It may be coming to your area as well. But Windstream has started offering gig service.
they have been installing fiber in this area, and I have noticed my service has gotten better.
Yeah.
They said
So,
the gig is fiber and that it's more reliable and better. So
It is.
mhm.
It is. We've been having it being installed in the Netherlands for the last 5 years or something. I get um, 80 megabits up and 20 megabits down right now, and that's because I'm limited. So you can go up to 1 gigabit with it.
wow,
And
Yeah.
I've got a friend up in Kentucky who has his own little arrangement, shall we say? He's been able to get what amounts to one of the huge pipes from
Yeah.
his service, and he
wow,
is taking advantage. He can download an entire movie in less than a minute.
Yeah.
wow.
When I was living in Amsterdam, I lived straight on top of the router, the divider that got the internet connection from the United States. So I had a ping to the United States servers on games and everything that was 3 or 4 milliseconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
I could play United States online games with so little lag, with like 15 people in the same room using the same Wi-Fi router and not have any lag whatsoever. I
Wow.
could download movies in seconds.
Uh
It
huh.
was so good.
Yes. You,
Would
you
that friend in Kentucky happen to be a certain Sean?
let's name names. This is a
Okay.
public forum.
This is true.
Um, let's just say the Jolly Roger is his family escutcheon,
Mhm.
and oh yeah. Um, so, gentlemen, we will call it a night and
Yep.
agree to meet up at the earliest opportunity we can again, which is
When I
probably
wake up in the
Thursday.
morning next week.
Hmm. You're gonna do what next week?
When I wake up with my morning coffee next week. What?
Ooh, Thursday will probably be before you wake up,
Yeah.
but
The
but
week.
next Saturday for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And I'm usually at work, so I can't participate most of the time Thursday nights. But I try and pop in if I can,
mhm.
just to say hi, if nothing else.
and uh, and believe me, I could not thank both of you enough. This has been so much fun. I mean,
Yes.
absolutely fun. I don't care
Yes.
what the viewers think. I've had fun, so
Yeah.
you know.
That's most important.
Hey,
That's
this
why
is
we
one of
do it.
those things. Yeah, well, we do it because we have fun, and we hope that the viewers have fun later on when they watch it on the replay or
Yep.
whatever. Um, and one of these days, we'll be known for this.
Hmm.
Not sure if
Ooh,
that's a good
you lucky people, you have yet to discover the awesome madness that is Stupid
Us.
O'Clock and Last Man Standing. You will, and then you'll go, how did I miss this?
thing. Yeah.
Well, because you don't stay awake till 3 o'clock in the freaking morning.
You can start uploading these to Spotify and Deezer because they're really big on podcast podcasts as well.
Oh, well, I have to look into that.
Make a
Oh,
little money on the side.
hey, we got an enormous back catalog, and not all of them feature me asleep. But
No,
luckily,
only a couple.
Yeah.
I was on night shift this week, so I was used to staying up till 7 o'clock a.m. my time before
Wow.
I got to clock out and go home from work. So, I haven't worked swing shift in several years, except for emergency situations, and this was an emergency situation.
Hmm.
But I was surprised at how easy it was to readapt to being awake from 3 in the afternoon till 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, those are serious days, though.
Well,
Yeah.
I spent 38 years on swing shift,
Yeah.
so every other week it was 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And those habits have not
Hmm.
totally disappeared from my psyche, thankfully,
Just
because
look at it as doing last man standing and only getting paid for it.
getting paid good money for it. Yeah, uh, yeah, uh, $20+ an hour for it. Yeah.
Right.
Works for me.
Hey,
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna cry all the way to the bank. Let me tell you.
Right until you walk in.
All right. Well, thanks,
Yep.
gentlemen. We're gonna go ahead and close it out here.
Yay,
Two
good
hour,
guys.
2 hours and a half. That's a damn good show, and none of us dozed off, and I
Yeah.
think we rule the world at this moment.
Yep. And go good guys.
So let me hit. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, there we go. Here we go for the end credits. Thank you very much for being here, folks. Thank you, everybody at home that will see this in the future or did watch while we were live.
Good
Good
night,
night.
everybody.
Good night, lovelies.
Transmission overload. System will shut down. will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.